familiar group in that we've seen some of these guys recently, not always against each other. The good part about it is they're all fairly sharp. And this is a non-winner of 4 or a $20,000 claimer or a non-winner of 2 other than.
All right, so let's start off swinging for the fences here.
All right.
Number 4, Howdy Bach. That's going to be my top choice here.
That's a pretty good fence
this
fight.
race. Yeah, right?
I mean, he's been sharp.
Yeah, 8
It's
to
not
1
like
on the
a
morning
complete-
line. Yeah, I mean, this horse has had 3 starts out here this year. So it had one in September, one in October, one in November. The one in October, Howdy Bach was the winner of that race. That was a $10,000 claiming race. Stepped it up into an allowance next time out. Ran third in that one, just missing by half a length. I think there's a lot to like about this horse. If you look at how this horse has done at 870, has 8 starts, a couple wins, a couple seconds, a couple thirds. Horse, like you said, has been sharp this year, has a win over our racing surface. Putting all those things together, I think that Howdy Bach might have a chance. And at 8 to 1, I'll take this horse. I took stablemate Gladiator, number 1, as my second choice. It's another horse that's been out here at Lone Star Park quite a bit. What I don't like is the 0 for 10 out here in races. Does have a second and a few thirds out of those 10 starts over our racing service, but has never picked up that win. Horse does have a couple wins at 870 yards. You can see this horse was a third-place finisher last time out at this distance. It's had trouble in a couple races, but, I think Gladiator could have a nice one from the inside tonight. And then I went with number 6, JTC Dutch in Mexico as my third choice here. This horse has put together back-to-back wins. I like that. Went from 550 to 870 in the last 2 starts and won both of those races. That was the only time this horse had been 870, so we'll see if he can't have another good race at this distance. I got it 4, 1, and 6 in the opener.
Yeah, this race is supremely wide open. I went ahead and took JTC Dutch in Mexico just for the sharpness factor. The owner-trainer, I don't know much about, Julio Rascon Almanza, but he's 2 for 2. He's won twice with this horse, so this horse has been his meal ticket. And I love the way he stretched out last time. He took some wagering action, too. I don't remember exactly what it was on the line, but I think he was bet down a little bit to just a shade under 3 to 1. He was a nice late-running winner in that race, and, I'm not sure you can pay the mortgage if you keep betting 870 horses coming from behind. I mean, they do sometimes, but it's more just because the leaders fade out. But this horse made a legitimate nice late run last 2 starts. So I went with him over I Am Tough on the outside. Jose Gomez doesn't run a lot of horses here, but he did very well at Will Rogers this fall. This horse comes from the Will. So I'm a little familiar with him, having charted those. Gladiator's obviously going to be very tough with the inside. He's a pretty reliable closer. It's tough for closers in that sport. And then Black Wall Street was just a neck back last time as the favorite. So there's a lot in there that can win. On to race 2. Maiden claimers here, $20,000 claiming tag in the second. 3 to 5 years of age. These are going $350. Scratch the 2 also eligibles, the 11 and 12.
Yeah, I'll take number 5, CM Nova. The last 3 races for this horse haven't been bad at all. If you look 3 back, this horse ran 4th, missing by a length in that race at Sam Houston Race Park. Follow that back up with a race at Retama where CM Nova was within a neck of the winner. Most recently, this horse went this 350-yard distance right here on the 27th of September. Came in as the runner-up, missing by a head in that one. So, this horse has been close in the last 3. Does have that good race last time out at this distance. So, we'll see what happens. I got to take the 5 on top of number 6, Apolitical Cruise. A solid second place last time out, missing by a head. This horse has, had a pretty decent year, 6 starts, has a couple wins, a couple seconds and a couple thirds from those 6 starts. And the horse has done all right since moving over here from, you can see Turf Paradise. This horse had some good races, had that good race out here. So we'll see what Political Cruise can do, but I got it 5-6 here in the second.
Yeah, and I switched them around. I think they kind of stick out in here, even though CR Hammerdown 440 is coming out of a really good Texas Classic Derby trial, and you have to respect those. He was 99 to 1 in it, but, still. But, I went with Apolitical Cruise just because he's back in with maiden claimers, albeit higher level ones. And he ran really well last time in a straight maiden race, beaten only a head, made a little ground up late in that race. CM Nova, very sharp lately, and we've seen that a lot this meet, that horses that are firing up close at the finish, especially multiple times, have been really dangerous. And who did I take for third? The one. Yeah, C.R. Hammerdown on the inside merits some respect just off the company that he's kept. Fire the Politicians has been close a couple of times. There's some competition in that one, but, we'll have the Quinella, as they used to say, with the 5-6. Caliente used to have Quinellas.
There's still a few around that you can find.
Yeah. I used to see them at the
rare.
dog
We used
tracks.
to have them out. Yeah, dog tracks are very popular, the Quinellas.
Yes.
We used to have one out here when I first started working, I want to say.
It's kind of an old-fashioned type of bet. On to race 3. $10,000 maiden claiming 2-year-olds in this one. 250 yards is the distance. We're scratching the 5, Calimon. It was originally my top pick. We're also scratching the 12, Last Eagle. I'm scratching in, and you are too, to Brinley Ann's Girl. It's kind of an interesting filly. I thought her race was pretty good last time, so I don't mind scratching into her.
I'm not scratching into her. I had this horse on top all
Good.
along.
Well,
now,
you get an extra half a point.
Yeah, I'll take a half a star or something for this one if she's able to win. Now, Brinley Ann's Girl, like you said, had a pretty decent race last time out. That was at $10,000 against maidens, right? So same type of race here, just going a little bit shorter. But missed by 3/4 last time. You can see 3 starts back. This horse had a decent run at 3:30. Again, missing by a neck in that one. So 2 out of the last 3 for Brinley Ann's Girl have been pretty decent races. I like the trainer, Angel Sanchez. Seems like, whenever I pick his horses, he can win some.
Yes,
no doubt about it.
Including last night.
Yeah, I was going to say, last night he picked up a win. He's got 12 listed here in the program, but this was printed before last night. So picked up another one in the win column. But I think Brinley Ann's Girl might be able to pick up the win here. Number 3, Sneaky Eagle. That's who I'm taking for second. This horse has been in maiden races for the last 2. The most recent one was at 220 yards. But, both of those last 2 races, or a lot of this horse's races, has been beat by a lot. All right, but you can see 3 starts back, he was in a maiden claiming race for $25,000. You can see this horse was in for $20,000, $50,000, some bigger races. But when you see way back at Louisiana Downs and Delta earlier this year, you see the horse was in for $20,000 and $15,000. Ran second and third by a nose and a neck in those 2 races. Is down here for 10, so should be a little bit easier for Sneaky Eagle. And then I got number 8, Spirit Bach, as my third choice here in race number 3. This horse is coming in here off a $5,000 maiden claiming race, steps it up to 10, but goes to the new barn today for start for the first time. So we'll see what happens changing up the barn, see if Spirit Bach can't get up there and run well. I got a 6, 3, and 8 in the third.
The one thing about Brinley Ann's Girl that I will mention in here, the race that she comes out of was a good $10,000 effort, same level as here, but there was a lot of trouble in that race for other runners. About half the field, unfortunately, got tangled up in a lot of bumping and jostling, and especially toward the outside. So really, it was a 10-horse field. She really only had to beat about 4 of them to hit the board or to, run her third, because the others were pretty much wiped out. So that's one thing to consider. Occasionally, you see a performance in this sport where the rest of the field was compromised by just bumping at the start. But yeah, I'm basically the same as you here. So let's, for time purposes, move ahead to race 4. Here's a quick 220. Starter optional claimer. You could be in for $7,500, or you could have started for a tag of $5,000 or less this year or last. Take out the 2 also eligibles, the 11 and 12.
Well, with our picks, if we were playing the lottery, we would have won the pick 4, right?
Look at
we
that.
got the same 4 here. Not always. That doesn't always happen, but JLC 11 or 7. Let's take this horse for first. That's the number 9. You can see this horse was in a couple starter optional claimings in the last 2. 2 starts back, this horse was the winner of one of those races. It came at 300 yards. Last time went 250. Ran 4th in that one, missed by a length. But, this horse has had some solid starts. Put together back-to-back wins from Sam Houston to Ratama in those 2 races. You can see this horse broke its maiden right here at Lone Star Park last November. But what I like, besides all that stuff, is this horse put in a sharp workout back on the first right here at Lone Star Park. Went 220, was 1 of 11 on the morning. I think JLC just 7 or 11 should be ready to go tonight. I took the 10, Tempting for Cash. That's number 2 two pick for me. Was a winner last time out that came back on October the 18th. Went in $7,500 non-winners of 3 there. Picked up the win by 3/4, going 3:30. Shortening it up here. But, the horse was up there toward the front most of the way down the track. And then I got the 5, Good Friday Patrona, as my third choice. Another one coming in here fresh off a win. That one was at 250 yards, so it was pretty short. And you can see that this horse ran 250 back-to-back and had 2 pretty decent finishes there. So give me 9, 10, 5 here in race 4.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I like the 9 just because, he is so darn fast early on. I mean, and this being just a 220, that's a huge advantage. And when they start getting down to 250 and under, I start to look almost as much at where they like to lay early in the race than the finish. Same thing for Tempting for Cash. He showed a lot of speed last time and was able to kind of draw off a little at the end. And then, Good Friday Patrona was really game competitor last time at this level, basically, but for fillies. And she ran a super race last time as well. Let's move on to race 5. Texas bred 2-year-old fillies. These are straight maidens, ineligible to be claimed, 330 yards of distance. Scratch a second-time starter that I kind of liked a little bit, the 11 Mullimore. She is out. That leaves full field of 10.
All right, I'm on 8, Razzle Dazzle Me. This horse has some pretty good races. Third last time out against maidens right here, going 300. Went 330 the race before that, was the runner-up, missed by a neck, missed by a head before that. So the last 3 races, all of them coming here at Lone Star Park, have been probably the 3 best races for this filly. So she should be ready to go tonight because she's been in good form. I got the 6, Giacosa, as my second choice. This is a horse that we've seen out here at Lone Star 4 different times. 3 of them came this year. Horse has finished second in 3 of those 4 races, including the last 2. They were back-to-back runner-up spots. The 1-2 back at 330 yards, just missed by a head there. Last time out, this horse was a neck in front of my top choice, Razzle Dazzle Me, so I wouldn't sleep on Giacosa here. And then I got the 10, Haley's Little Eagle, as my third shot. The horse has been in a couple futurity trials, ran fairly decent in those, been in some maiden races as well. The horse has had some respectable finishes, so give me 8, 6, and 10 here for race 5.
I'm going to take a little swing in this one. Your third pick, Haley's Little Eagle, is going to be my top pick. Her race on Halloween, to me, you can completely toss. She got really bumped, really hard, and was bumped around. Moved from 6th to 5th, but throw that out, and, she was pretty reasonably competitive against an undefeated horse in the Lion King 2 starts back in August in a futurity trial. And then Fire Cholitos, who was second in that trial, was 6th in the Dash for Cash Futurity and 3rd in the TQHA Sires Cup. So she was beaten 3 lengths in that race, and we're going back to August. But her early season races were pretty darn competitive, and I think people might get a little thrown off by that last race, even though there's a trouble indicator. The trouble for her was pretty considerable. I'm going to forgive that. Razzle Dazzle Me and Giacosa certainly could run 1-2 here, but they just both seem to settle for second. I'm not saying they do, because I'm always the one that says, well, don't blame a horse for running second when they're beaten by this much. But still, when they start to run enough and they're running seconds and thirds, I wonder. But still, they could run 1-2. But I'm going to try to beat them with Haley's Little Eagle.
Wouldn't it be crazy if they dead heated for second in this race?
That would be. We have not lacked for dead heats lately, so that could happen. I did a race at Will Rogers that week. I filled in for John Lees, where they had an 870 race to kick off the card, and they dead heated for a win in an 870 race.
You don't see that very often.
That's a little more unusual. Race 6, 2-year-old fillies. Non-winners of a race other than, or non-winners of 2, 300 yards. They will sprint, scratch both the 11 and 12.
Let's go with Karma Cha-Ching, number 8. This horse just missed by a neck last time out. That was an allowance race. Was in a trial for the Dash for Cash Futurity before that. Ran second in that one by behind Winston, who was a pretty quick qualifier for the Dashford
and then
Cats.
ran fourth in the
final. So not a bad horse to come in, right behind. Sires Cup Futurity, his horse was in that, won the trial to get in that by a length and a half. Pretty big trial win for that one. But Karma Cha-Ching, I mean, this filly, I can't doubt her for running behind some of these other horses, but does have a win in the second this year. So give me the 8 on top. I got the 6 Chill as my second choice. 20-1 morning line on Chill. I'm kind of excited about this. I mean, this horse was a winner last time out. That was in a race against quarter horses, so not bad there. We've seen this horse run against paints as well and have some pretty good efforts there. So, I mean, you look at the 6 races this year, it's hit the board in 5 of those 6 races. 100% in the top 3 at this distance as well. 1 for 1 right here at Lone Star Park. So put all those things together with 20-1, and I really like Chill here. And then I got number 5, AJ Lucky Girl as my third choice. Another one coming in here fresh off a win. I thought that was a pretty decent win last time out, going 330, just barely. She looked good early on, but barely got to hang on for the win, but now drops back 30 yards from that. Should help AJ Lucky Girl out a little bit. 8, 6, and 5 is how I see race number 6.
Yeah, Karma Cha-Ching, to me, it would be a major surprise if she doesn't win. They obviously have to go out and execute, but if you just look at the horses she's been facing, I mean, not fillies except for her debut. She's been running very solidly against Colts and Geldings and all comers. And Maiden to Shade is another intriguing one for me. The barn's very hot. The connections are hot. Her last race at 9-1. It was over a month ago, but it was pretty sharp in non-winners of 2 allowance. So I put her in there for second. On to the 7th. 7th race starts tonight's pick 6. There's no carryover tonight in the pick 6. It paid quite a bit last night if you could isolate all 6, which wouldn't have been easy. Starter optional claimer, 550 the distance. Take out the 11 and 12.
Yeah, I'll take number 1, Just My Disco. A runner-up last time out in a starter optional claiming race. A runner-up before that as well. This horse's last 5 starts or so have come at 870 yards. So now is backing it off to 550. Doesn't have to go around the turn this time. Always like horses that have been running 870 and then dropping it back. Feel like they're going to have a lot of stamina after running those long races. So give me Just My Disco on top. I mean, this horse had a nice workout back on the 8th of November, 2 of 12 on the morning. So I'll take the 1 here. I got the 10, Zeph Lucky Safe as my second choice here. We saw this horse in the Dr. Glenn Blodgett Stakes, the B.F. Phillips Jr. Stakes. I mean, was outran in both of those. But after those 2 stakes, went into an allowance race out here. Ran a decent third in that one. So I'll give this horse benefit of the doubt to get up and have another nice placing here. And then I got the 6, Double Down Lucas as my third choice. Last time out didn't go very well. Ran 9 of 10, beaten by 3. But if you look at the 5 races before that, I mean, this horse had back-to-back wins dating back to December last year at Evangeline, then going over to Louisiana Downs, picking up the win there. Ran third at the $15,000 claiming level at Rotama, only beaten by a length. Had a couple of starter optional claiming races that this horse was within a length of the winner. So I think Double Down Lucas, that's a big odds, could finish in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, the main question I think for him might be, he hasn't done it yet. How will he like the 550-yard distance? Because at this level, at roughly the $5,000 starter optional claiming level, he's been tough. He was just pitched in, really difficult competition last time. Zeph Lucky Sace is an interesting case because lest you think he's just been a big stakes horse that's suddenly dropping. I mean, let's not forget, on July 11th, he was running for $10,000 non-3 claimers. He won that one. They put him in a Texas-bred final of some sort at Rotama. He won that. Then they got a little pumped up and started putting him in these really tough Texas-bred stakes. Those 2 races with I'm a Chili, who's going to have a good chance in tomorrow's refrigerator against all comers. And then last time, in a little more reasonable spot, still better than this, he ran okay. Plus, he does show a history at 550. So I like him for that reason. I would watch out as well for the 9, Ice for Real, in that race in the 7th, because even though he hasn't been 550, his last race he was drawing off very powerfully. Like he could have easily gone another 110 yards. 8th race. maiden 2-year-old fillies at 3:30 take out the 11 and 12 out of this one.
Yeah, I've got the 2 Legendary Gold Digger. This horse was in the Heritage Place Juvenile 2 starts back. That's a pretty decent race there, no doubt about it. But took some time off after that Juvenile and didn't get back to the racetrack until the 24th of October, so just a couple weeks ago. And that was a trial for the Texas Classic Futurity. Now, ran 8th, beaten by 3 in that one. But if you look, the horse had a little bit of trouble, it says, bumped at the start. I'm looking for a big improvement from the second start back after a layoff. Hopefully, Legendary Gold Digger can get the job done. Number 5, Royal Belza D is going to be my second choice. This horse ran second last time out in the maiden race at the Downs at Albuquerque. Was beaten by 3/4 of a length there. You can see earlier this year at Sunland, horse ran third in a trial there. Sunray ran second, missing by a head. Was in the Four Corners Futurity. So, the horse did qualify for Futurity earlier this year. It's going to be the first time this horse has come to Lone Star to run. Yeah. But we'll see what Royal Belza D can do. And then number 7, I Am Enemy, is going to be my third shot. This horse has only had 3 races, finished second, third, and fourth out of those 3 races. So maybe this is the time that this filly picks up a win. I got a 2.57 in race 8.
And with I Am Enemy, I didn't work her. Actually, I do have her in the top 4, don't I? The race she comes out of did feature a Texas Classic Futurity qualifier. RF Runaway Cowboy did make the final off that race. And she was reasonably competitive up in that early and outrun a little bit late. Royal, I think it might be Belleza. I'm not sure of that, but number 5. I had to look up her sire because I remember Astico. He just ran a few years ago. He is a full brother to Kiss My Astica. And he is a half brother, the stallion is now, to Asher, who's the reigning AQHA
Asher.
World Champion, who was a winner out here last fall.
Yeah, Dead Heat winner in the Dash for Cash, and then won
on the cover of the program.
It won the Oaks or the Classic too, I think. I want to say Asher
came
back.
I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, the Dead Heaters
right
from Mark Youngers are on the cover. But nonetheless, that's the sire that this Royal Belleza. And, her last race at Albuquerque was pretty good. Her E-speed figures are pretty good. As you mentioned, she's traveled around New Mexico. She's had 5 races at 3 different New Mexico racetracks. She's a pick for me. I don't have a strong feeling, though, about this one. Carly's Money Lift has had 4 trainers and 6 starts. I don't know what that means. She's been overmatched lately. Alerted is Rick Lee's long shot pick. The 10, first time out for Angel Sanchez. He does very well when he sends horses out in his care for the first time. And she was favored in a futurity trial at Gillespie and had a lot of trouble. So she could be one to watch for sure. Race 9. 9th race, I think, is really hard. $20,000 claimer. That makes it a good race, though, because it means it's not easy for us pundits to circle in on a winner. 3:30 the distance. Scratch the 9, 11, and 12 from race 9.
Yeah, I went with the 4 Fire and Rains. Fresh off a win last time out. That was on the 18th of October. Won that race by half a length. The horse has been competitive in the races before that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the 4 here. I got the 5. Check out Jess as my second choice. This horse was a winner 2 back at $7,500. Went at $15,000 last time out. Ran third. It was a pretty decent race, only beaten by a length. That came at this 330-yard distance. And then I took the 6, A Fabulous Fling, as my third choice. This horse is making a drop in class. Last time out was in an optional claiming race. Ran 10 of 10 in that one. Was in allowance before that. Didn't do too hot. Derby trial at Retama, but on and on and on. But taking a drop, man, it's got to be a little bit easier for A Fabulous Fling today, I would assume. And a horse 20 to 1, I always like long shots, so I'll take this one to get up for third.
Yeah, if you take a look at him back when he wasn't running in that really tough optional claimer last time, or those tough races before that, he was a monstrous long shot in those last 3, but in his earlier races before that, and going back to last year, he was well bet and much more competitive, and that's the way it'll be here today. Contrary Eagle, the 11, who is scratched, was on the also eligible list. Usually if I think it also eligible has a good shot, I'll handicap the race assuming they're going to get in. And in that case, I pick Contrary Eagle. Then I put my phone over the also eligibles and say, okay, now I'm going to kind of re-handicap the race pretending they're not in there, because I want to make sure I line up my second, third, fourth picks behind the also the way I'm okay if they scratch. Well, in this case, I scratch into a bit of a swing here in Grand Diamond D, the 2. Diego Cervantes has had a good meet. He teams well with Candenosa. This horse came back off a layoff, another Turf Paradise horse, kind of like that one earlier on today's card. This horse was really good in the winter at Turf. Came back from a long layoff here, was 7-2. Had a little bump at the start and made up a little ground. The thing I like about Grand Diamond D is who he faced last time. I think that was a really good race. Huey's Wild Baby. Get Some was a next out winner. Rich Strike, who ran third, was a really sharp winner here last night. He's not italicized because this went to bed before last night's races, but Rich Strike should be italicized too.
Yes.
So that's why I'm going with him. And I mean, Fire and Rain's very quick, but some of these others in here, they're fine. They don't inspire. They inspire me to try to look for a little bit of a price. Race 10, 350 yards. These are non-winners of 2 other than this year, non-winners of 4, or you can be in for $50,000, scratch the 11 and 12. I'm taking the one horse in here, say Sponte, that is in for the $50,000 tag. He's the only one in the body of the field that applies to.
All right, decent choice there. But me, I'm going to go with Light 'em Up Rooster on the inside. 5-1 morning line for Light 'em Up Rooster.
I would have bet money you were going to take him. Last out win, Angel Sanchez, very sharp. Plus, he's a really nice, he's a nice horse. Likes this track. Anyway, I don't want to steal
you pretty
your
much
thunder,
hitting everything on the head.
That's why I figured you would pick.
The only thing else I have to add is that this horse was at 550 the last 2 races, cutting back in distance. And if you see those last 3, I mean, this horse was up there toward the front most of the way down the racetrack. Yeah. So cutting that extra distance off, I think this could be Light 'em Up Rooster's night to pick up another win. I got the 6, Picasso Jess, as my second choice here. $40,000 optional claiming last time, ran second, missed by a neck. This horse was in a stakes race earlier this year down at the Gillespie County Fairgrounds, ran well in an allowance, 2 starts back, only missing by a length. It does have a win at this distance as well. And then I got number 9, Flying Cholitos, as my third pick here. This horse was in a tough spot last time in a trial for the Texas Classic Derby. Ran 5th in that one, but a very tough race there if you look at those top 3 runners. Not bad at all. Was in a stakes race against Paints before that. I guess that was the Karen Utek Stakes probably that Rosario Tejares won. This horse was in the Sires Cup Derby this year, the Firecracker Derby. So has been in some solid races. We'll see if Flying Cholitos can't get up and finish in the top 3 here in race 10.
This is a really good race. You have some really nice runners in here. You have ones that have been racing at really good levels and, and sharp. I want to say Sponte comes out of a win a little over a month ago that came off a layoff. Boy, I am really into these Turf Paradise horses. I just realized this horse wintered out in Phoenix as well. And is second off a layoff. Barn knows how to win. In fact, the previous race, I think I picked the Cervantes. Yeah, the previous race, I picked the same trainer coming back from Turf and having a comeback race. This horse, though, the comeback race was really sharp. I think it's fairly wide open. I like Light 'em Up Rooster as well. A Picasso Jess, a really nice 4-year-old. There's a lot of contention there. I think there's a lot of contention in the Ochoa Stakes, race 11. 350 yards, Texas bred 2-year-olds. Scratch the 7, Lachero. Scratch the 9. She's a Whirlaway 2. The latter, She's a Whirlaway 2, is going to go tomorrow.
All right, so, we got a late night stakes here for this Ochoa Stakes. I got number 10, Mr. Chato Perez, as my top pick. A third last time out, going 300 yards. Before that, went 330, won that race by a head. Had a runner-up spot at Rotama, 3 starts back. I mean, this horse has been in nice form as of late. So go ahead and give me Mr. Chato Perez on top. Number 2, Run on Monday. That's going to be my second choice. This horse was a winner last time out, and the non-winners a 2 allowance race. Went in a trial race before that at Retama. Ran pretty decent as the runner-up. Qualified for the Sam Houston Futurity this year. So I'll take one that's a little bit of a shot second. And then I got the 4 VP Dash for Texas as my third pick. You know, this is a horse that's been running against paints and quarters. I thought this horse has been running very nicely against both of them. You know, last time out was in a trial it was in a trial race last time.
Hero,
I was going to say didn't make the field for the Texas Hero, but I want to say the horse, hung in gate, had some trouble in that one. But if you look before that, I mean, this horse has hit the board in every race so far this year. Has 3 wins at this distance as well. We'll see if this dual registered horse can't get in there and run pretty well in the Ochoa Stakes.
Yeah, I mean he may be a pretty good price. He typically draws a lot of wagering attention and is very competitive. When they get hung up in the gate, it's usually they lean back right as they kick the gate, and the flipping halter serve to hold the gate shut is usually what that means. I'm taking the 3 a real quick flirt supplement to this race. A winner last time out here on Halloween at 5-1. Really had a duck out early in the race. Got out of there fine, broke fast, swerved out, and then ran straight to the finish. And I thought it was a pretty good race. And the race before that, the trial for the Dash for Cash, faded late, but that was at 400 yards. This will be at 350. I think he's really quick and sharp, so I'm going to take him. Mr. Chato Perez, I've always liked this guy ever since his first win on opening night, or not his first win, but his win on opening night. The only thing that worries me about Chato, he broke out and ran super wide last time, like detached from the rest of the bunch, and he drew outside again, which leads me to believe he may do the same thing. We'll see. A lot of times horses that draw outside, maybe they just sense all that open space and they go there. A lot of them break out and race wide. That's why I kind of like to have them, have a horse on their right so they're not as inclined to do it. 12th and final. High 5 race, carry over 43,899. Scratch the 2 also eligibles. These are Maiden Colton Gelding 2-year-olds at 300.
All right, I thought there was 2 horses in here to pick from. I went with a Streakin' Sintacha, the number 2. This horse has been up there close in the last 3 races. Finished third in all 3 of them, but was beaten no more than a length in any of them. I think this horse could run good. I took number 1, Just Down Candy, as my second choice, a second and a third in 2 races, both of those being futurity trials. And I went with El Doricho, the number 3 horse, as my third pick. Back-to-back third-place finishes. We'll see what happens, but 2, 1, and 3 here in the nightcap.
This smells to me like one of these races where whichever between the 1 and 2 get the better break is going to win. And I don't know who that's going to be. I mean, typically a Streakin' Sintacha has broken fairly well. He certainly finishes well. He's run more than Just Down Candy. I took Just Down Candy, though. Last time out, he bumped Eagle on a Junebug, who wound up, what am I looking at here? Eagle on a Junebug, was the winner of that race in a trial, and a very good winner at that. A horse I think has a shot tomorrow in the big race. And he actually bumped him. It did not phase Eagle on a Junebug, but it did phase him. And he wound up running decent behind a really good horse, and I really like Spotify, the runner-up in that race as well. So I went with the 1 over the 2, but it's really a matter of who gets the best start, I think. And I'm due a little luck because, as I told Rodney during the card last night, first 8 or 9 races, I could not get a horse out of the gate.
It happens
my
sometimes.
picks had some bad starting luck. So we'll see if that changes tonight. All right, we're out of time. Rodney will be in here all night long for the paddock previews. Beautiful night for our next to last night of racing. Good luck here at Lone Star Park.
In the event of an emergency, Lone Star Park is dedicated to ensuring the safety of our patrons. This video illustrates